It's time, everyone. We are back. It is on the Perf Podcast. And gosh, it is time to do an episode around the niche sport that we actually base the whole show around. Riser has actually shot a 3-gun match. Riser, how are you doing, buddy?
We're doing good. I shot it last week, and we were like a whole week and a half out now, so I'm actually quite well rested. Had a nice week in the desert with my wife, mountain biking and rock climbing.
Still married?
And yep, still married. It was our anniversary weekend actually. So
nailed it.
Yeah, standard. We go down to the desert, and we got married right outside of Zion. So every October. Our anniversary is 10/22. How sweet is that?
Did you do that on purpose?
I did not. I did not realize it until we were like 5 days out from the wedding. I'm like, fuck yes, I'm always going to remember this. I was so stoked.
Did you tell her?
I did not.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it makes life easy. Yeah, so that's our pro tip for the day. Get married on a day that you can remember really easily based off of random gun numbers.
I told Taylor I was only going to remember one anniversary. Our anniversary is New Year's Day, and that's it. I don't care. I don't care. I told her I don't care what else happens in the history of ever in our relationship. Our anniversary is New Year's Eve.
Solid. That's a good one. Plus, you always have some time off around that time. You can go do stuff.
Yeah, we got a solid government holiday in there. Like, yeah.
Yeah, 100%. As you guys know, On the Perf Podcast is brought to you by Atlas Gunworks, and I have a really interesting little tidbit of information here because I haven't dealt with any Atlas warranty stuff. So one of the things that got me on the Vortex bandwagon back in the day was I had a scope that I shipped in a crate with a show booth for SHOT Show, which was not a good idea. It was in a hard-sided case on a rifle, but I didn't really understand just the amount of abuse that would happen inside that thing, and it became not round anymore. And the level of speed and professionalism that Vortex handled my issue with, just a straight up, like, no questions asked, fix my shit, and I had it back immediately. Like, that sold me forever. I was like, I'm on board. I'd had some really bad experiences with other scope companies. That's what sold me. With Atlas, I have no idea because I've only had my Apollo for a couple months now, haven't had any issues with it. But I had a buddy that I met in North Carolina for Battle for the South, and we shot some guns and traded some stuff, and he ended up buying himself an Atlas and sent me a text yesterday. And I won't read the whole thing, but basically the gist is got about 6,000 rounds through it, and it started doubling on him. He wasn't sure what to do, so he called up and they said, yeah, it could be a few things. You're going to have to send it in. Now, generally speaking, if you're going to send in your very custom double stack 1911 to the gunsmith that built it, it's going to be a minute. Like, you better have a backup ready to roll because you ain't seen that thing in a while. And Atlas sent him an overnight shipping label, paid for overnight shipping both directions, and he said his gun was out of his possession for 7 days. He shipped it on a Tuesday, or shipped it on a Thursday. It was back the next Thursday.
They're on the Vortex model.
Yeah, they're on the Vortex model. So hats off to Atlas. Apparently, they are quite on the ball when it comes to taking care of their customers, which gives me the warm fuzzies.
Yeah,
I really am happy about that.
I had an experience like that several years ago on my first Atlas gun. So this is like 2016 time frame. They were much smaller back then. And a lot of people everyone chases these really light triggers, but when you have really light triggers, it makes them very easy to bump fire. And so I had a period of time where my gun would bump fire on me if I shot it stronger weak hand only. If I shot it single hand, it would bump fire in my hand, and of course whoever was ROing me would freak out and be like, oh, that gun's not safe. I'm like, no, it's fine. I bump fired it. And so originally when I had this, I got a hold of Adam Nilsson, and
there's too many Adams in our world.
And basically, I think one of the ways that Atlas really came onto the scene was they were willing to pull the curtain back on the quote unquote secret sauce, or things that other smiths would regard as the secret sauce. And so at that time, a lot of times if you had a simple to fix issue, and shooters were more mechanical then than they are now, he was like, well, that's a really simple fix. Here, I'll make a YouTube video for you quick and watch the video. And if you think you can do it, go ahead and do it. And if you're not comfortable, just send it back to me. And he basically showed me, he added tension on, there's a tri-leaf spring underneath your mainspring housing. And that spring, in a world that has a grip safety, that is the spring that pops your grip safety out. It's the return spring for your trigger, the actual trigger bow, and then it's the tension on the disconnector and the sear. And so he showed me, or the video showed you which one to put more tension on, essentially putting more tension on the disconnector. And that alleviated my issue. But in that era, they've always been on the ball in any of my interactions with them, and that was in back in the day. That was how they would do it. Is he would just make a video and he'd be like, "Yep, this video goes out to Adam Maxwell. He's having a little issue with this, and so if you take this and blah blah blah," and that's what he would do back in the day. And then now they're a bigger company; they have more people and whatnot. But it's good to see that has maintained through. But there's lots of people that build good guns out there. But I always just really liked Atlas's approach both to performance. They don't do stuff just because it's cool. They do it because it's performance. And then the service level, like especially as I got more involved with Vortex, we just really connect with people who do service like us. And almost like I come from like a heavy equipment background. So I think of it as like how a company like, or a brand like John Deere supports their equipment, or Caterpillar or Peterbilt, or any of those heavy equipment companies. It's like they have service techs. They'll come out. They have after hour. You have after hours numbers. 7 days a week. All that. So like when it's 911 time, you can get a hold of somebody. And on a smaller scale, I've always gotten that with Atlas too. That's kept me with them for a long time.
Heck yeah. Our other show sponsor, as everybody knows, Briley Manufacturing, and I also have a Briley story from this weekend, from at the match actually. So
it's Riser's show, everyone. I'm just here for the ride. All right. So.
He's just here for the ride. Yeah. So we're just working through it. I lost my train of thought. My brain just totally turned off. Oh,
Briley.
Okay. So Briley
Manufacturing.
On the way out, as I was, gearing up for this match, ended up staying in a cabin with Varric Bicey and his dad and his mom and his grandparents and a handful of other people. It was a pretty interesting little thing. The unfortunate thing was I was on the opposite schedule of everybody else, so pretty much didn't get to hang out with anybody. but it was nice to be out at the cabin. And then a couple people there were having a issue with their Dissident shotgun. So they were asking me some questions about patterning, and are like, "Hey, when you're patterning your shotgun and you're trying to figure out how far out you can shoot with clays," they're like, "I heard you say on a podcast or a video or something, how like that the clay shouldn't fit inside the pattern. There shouldn't be a place in the pattern where you could put a clay and you wouldn't be able to break it." And they're like, "Is that like a vertical clay or a horizontal clay?" I'm like, "Well, a horizontal clay, because that's, when they get thrown out, that's what they do." And they're like, "Well, how far out can you go? Like, what does your pattern look like with an extra full at like 15 yards? And I'm like, "It looks like a softball. Like it's just a dense wad of pellets all in the same place that rips a hole in the target."
Big fistful of FU.
Yeah, exactly. And they're like, "Well, take a look at this pattern. And like, this is 15 yards with an extra full." And they show it to me and I'm like, "What the shit?" I mean, this thing was splotchier than my beard, dude. Like, there's just holes all over the place. It's not even remotely round. Like, everything about it is wrong. And I'm like, what in the ever, like, what the shit? And they're like, "Yeah, and here's our full choke." And it like looked the same. And they're like, "So we're like 15 yards. You can't put a clay in there anymore, so we just shoot extra full on everything. And I'm like, oh my god. Okay, so we take the gun. We take the gun. We start looking at it, and like, there's only so much you can figure out by just like looking down the barrel of a shotgun. And but where Briley comes in here, Dissonant Shotguns run Briley chokes. That whole choke tool thing that takes them out, the internal chokes, the really thin chokes, all that stuff. That's all Briley. When you buy a Dissonant Shotgun, you get a Briley brand choke tool thing to remove it with your Briley chokes. And one of the many reasons we love Briley, they have a booth at pretty much every giant major match on that half of the country.
Yeah.
So I told them, I was like, hey, this is either something's up with these chokes and they're like out of spec, or they got dinged or something that like I can't see with the naked eye. I looked at them and they were super dirty, but other than that, they looked fine. I'm like, go over to the Briley tent. Robbie can inspect these things. If Robbie says this ain't us, then you're going to go over to the Dissonant tent and find out what's going on over there. Mike and Lan will help you out. So they take the chokes over to Robbie, show him the photo. And Robbie's like, the shit. And Robbie just happens to know all of the diameters of all the chokes because that's his world. So he like breaks out the calipers and starts measuring shit. And he's like, these are fine. They're like, definitely nothing wrong with these chokes. There's something going on with the shotgun. So like, it ended up not being a thing. Like, he didn't help in the grand scheme of the word, other than just being like, hey, you don't have to worry about this component of what's going on here. So, move on to the rest of it. So they didn't have to like buy a whole new set of chokes to find out that the other set of chokes were fine. But just like being at these matches and having that level of service and being like, yeah, we can just inspect these things right now and tell you what's up. And if there is a problem, we can fix it or replace it or whatever. That's huge. Yeah, that is huge.
That level of support is it just gets me so excited about brands. Because like, that's a thing in other sports, and we run an equipment related sport, so you're gonna have equipment issues. And here's the deal: like, if you're gonna have a shotgun problem at a match, you're gonna go and ask for Robbie's help, one way or the other. You can be the guy that has, hey, I bought this from you and I need help. Pause, rewind. Hey, I didn't buy this from you, but I still need your help. It's like,
yep.
And like, the response is going to be like, when people ask me for optics help at the match, I'm going to help them the same, but like, it's like, man, when your Holosun doesn't work, I like, oh, sorry about your bad luck. I will give you the optic off of my gun. Oh, it uses a different footprint. Oh, it does use a different footprint, huh? Well, you could go ask the Holosun guy for his. Oh, wait, he's not here.
He's in China.
China.
Yep. Yeah, 100%.
PSA as we lead into the Gary here, just give you a little break. I spoke to one of my friends, one of my Minnesota people. He calls me on a weekend. He's like, hey, and he's like, I'm troubleshooting this like Gen 3 1 to 10 Razor with him via text and the phone. And he's like, man, just this, it looks weird, blah, blah. Eventually figure out, homeboy, what ended up happening, homeboy bought what he thought was a Vortex Razor from Amazon.
No.
What he got
for
$2,500 was original Vortex packaging, and somebody returned a counterfeit Gen 3 Razor 1 to 10.
Bro.
People, don't buy gun stuff on Amazon.
Oh my god.
Don't buy gun stuff on Amazon.
That's so sketchy. That's so messed up.
I came to the office today. Apparently this is a known thing and Amazon has a way to rectify all that, but like homeboy just thought yeah, that's just Gen 3 1 to 10. And that's how, how they are until my guy, who I know has a legit 1 to 10 because I sold it to him, me or Travis or Ruben sold it to him. And he's like, all right, I know this. And he's like, and you put them side by side and they look close. But if you look at them like, oh, that's different. That's fake.
Oh man.
Don't buy your gun stuff on Amazon, people.
Yeah, definitely not. Unless you're an airsofter, and then
Yeah, then whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
LARP at your own risk. But you know what time it is, everybody. Your favorite time, my favorite time, everybody's favorite time. It's time for that Gary of the day. And guess what? Riser's got one of those too. What happened, my man?
Dude, have I got some Gary for you. So, we were at the match. Me and Drink, Brian Nelson were on a squad together. Didn't know anybody else on the squad. We shoot our first stage. They're reading off the shooting order. This dude's missing. All of us like, I don't know him. No idea. So anyways, so we DNS him on the first stage. We shoot through it. We're just done walking the second stage. Homeboy rolls up with his girlfriend.
Oh no.
And so, he's shooting, I think he's shooting TAC. He's shooting tube gun for sure. We're on the all shotgun stage. So we finish walking. We're starting our first couple shooters. ROs are cool about it. They kind of take him aside. Shit happens. Give him a little, private stage brief. Kind of point out some targets and stuff. He goes to start getting set. He's down towards the bottom of the order. He's gearing up. Doesn't have enough caddies. Starts borrowing some caddies from people.
Uh-oh.
And then, he's like, holy shit! Like I wasn't expecting like a 50-round shotgun stage. Like this 24 belt ain't gonna do it. So he borrows some caddies. And anyways, and goes to shoot the stage. He's down towards the bottom, so we're all resetting and stuff for him. And as we're walking down, we're just like, fucking, jeez, fuck the fuck. And we're just getting fragged left and right. And we're just like, what in the shit, man? We get to the end of the stage, and he finishes up. RO gets fragged too. And finally the RO's like, wait. As he's unloading the gun, grabs one of his shells, walks over, grabs a magnet. Sure enough, homeboy's shooting steel shot on the all shotgun stage. I was like, so he got there a stage and a half late, shot one stage, got DQ'd. I felt really bad because I wanted to,
he obviously doesn't know any better, right?
Yeah, obviously just didn't know any better. But he just went to the car and just left. And then we just never saw him again.
Just popped smoke and he's out, huh?
Just dropped the smoke bomb and deuced it. And I felt really bad because I was just like, oh man, this poor guy. He was definitely local dude. He was, driving his own truck out there and that kind of stuff. But man, yeah. So steel shot, Gary of the day. Don't shoot steel shot.
Yeah. Steel shot or many other kinds of shot as well. Some rule books, plated shot, copper plated shot is not okay. So yeah. Lead shot only, people. Jeez.
Yeah.
I have that happened to me somewhere in match director land, but it's not a good enough story to bring it up again. So I can't even really remember, but I'm not going to put it together for you. I have encountered that before, and it's, there's actually a listener out there that was DMing me, and they're like, you got to ask Riser about how he feels about steel shot. And I'm like, well, now I don't even have to ask you. Now I know.
Yeah, now you know. Yeah, that must have been somebody who was at the match.
Yep. We also we had a listener question. Did you inquire at all on that listener question?
I did inquire on a listener question, but the one about the DQs.
Yeah.
So the LQ as it pertains to the match. Let me scroll on down and find it really quick. It just says I see Memorial 16 people got DQ'd. There were last year there were only 4. Any idea what happened? And then there's a second LQ which we're going to put on another show because or there's a second part to that listener question, which we're going to put on another show because this one's already going to run long.
It do be like that.
It do be like that. So, what happened? I went to the source. I was like, I mean, if anybody knows, Varric's going to know. So I just texted Varric And it says,
Wasn't Varric the one that asked the question?
no,
Oh,
No.
Oh, I thought it was Varric's question. I was like, geez, man.
no. No, unless Varric has some alias that I don't know about, but yeah, I don't think it was Varric. Because I texted him the question and he sent back. A few people shot pistol steel with rifle at close range.
Yahtzee.
One person hooked their bipod on a barrel. And when they grabbed so their bipod was on the rifle in the barrel, and when they grabbed the rifle to pull it out, torch went off.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, keep the safety on and your finger off the trigger, boys and girls. And then it said, I heard about a bunch of people bouncing long guns out of barrels when they went to dump. He says, I don't know much for details, but those are the ones I heard about. And then some guy shot steel bird shot on the all shotguns. So those were the causes of the DQs.
Dang.
Amazingly, as far as I know, no trip and falls despite torrential rain mixed with steel steps and jungle runs and all those little vine things that go through. Varric did eat some real shit on the shotgun stage and like rib planted on a stump. Like a move that would have left you or me like jacked for a couple weeks, but he's 18 and still made out of rubber, so he just bounced back up and kept going like nothing ever happened. But yeah, so no DQs from trip and falls, so that was good.
Yeah, and really, I would, at this match in particular, I would expect a fair number of DQs, and then when the weather turns inclement, I would, times 2, whatever was normally going to happen. But, yeah, okay, so you got to the bottom of that one, because I was going to say I reached out to Zoo City for comment, and they did not. So, I think Jason just has better things to do than text me back, but
quite possibly, yeah.
But yeah, I saw that. I hit him at like 5:30 in the morning my time, 6:30 in the morning his time, and I'm sure he just forgot.
Yeah,
I was gonna be like, man, we're real press now. We reach out for comment, and people say no comment.
Yeah, real press. The White House declined to comment.
We are media now, baby.
Yep, we've made it officially.
All right, so there you were. You were in Salt Lake City, Utah, and you're going to Memorial. Like, break it down.
Yes, indeed. Let's see. So, yeah,
you've never been to this match.
I've never been to this match.
Yep.
I have heard lore of this match for years and years. Never been there. Managed to get in this year. And in many ways, lived up to the hype. So a few things going in. So first of all, as you can imagine, when Brian Nelson and I get together, we usually fix 3-gun. And the part of 3-gun that we fixed on this one was AM PM schedules suck.
What?
So
wait,
here's the problem.
Wait,
what? Hey, no, yeah, okay.
No,
they suck.
Dude,
the way we they suck the way we do them. Here's the problem. You either shoot an AM schedule and then you're just like hanging out for 24 hours before you shoot again, or you shoot a PM schedule where it rained, then you go home, it's 8 o'clock, you're wet, you're hungry, you're tired, all your guns need cleaning, you have to do all that stuff, then get back up at 5 o'clock in the morning to make it back to the range to shoot the AM schedule the next day. It should either be AM all or PM all. Shooting a morning, then an afternoon, then a morning is dumb.
Oh, I'm on board with that.
Yeah.
It has holes, but I'm on board with it.
So here's the thing. Generally speaking, you're going to have less wind in the morning. So if you're a competitive person like we are, you're just going to shoot the morning schedule because you're going to want a little bit less wind. Some people aren't morning people. If I wasn't a competitive person, I would for sure shoot the PM schedule because I like sleeping in and being able to go out and kind of check out the stages and have a good time and then shoot my stages.
I was going to say, whatever do you mean, Adam?
Yeah. So, yeah, I think it should go that way. And so apparently that's how they do it in Europe. He was telling me he shot a PM one day, and then he was freaking out trying to get to the range. And the guy that he was with is like, dude, what are you doing? We're going for breakfast. He's like, what are you talking about? We have to be at the range at 7 o'clock. He's like, why would you think that? That's insane. We shot the afternoon schedule. We're on the afternoon schedule. And he's just like, oh yeah, that makes way more sense. We should do it
Stupid
that
Europeans.
way. Stupid Europeans doing things right. Yeah. So the
This is why Germany
so the
invades you.
people exactly. So so we got what we thought was the good schedule, afternoon, morning, then afternoon. We thought that on the second day when it was kind of rainy, and then on the third day when it was torrential downpour. So we shot the tower stage in absolute monsoon rain with 36 mile an hour crosswind. We did use a Kestrel. Those are the numbers it gave us. Yeah.
Say that again?
It was 36 miles an hour.
Full value?
Full value. Well, it was quartering on the tower stage. It was full value on stage 5.
Oh, you know what?
Away.
I did see some of your videos from the tower stage. That looked like very much not fun.
So that one was like it was blowing into you, and that one, it wasn't a big hold, but because it was blowing straight into you, it either, as it shifted direction like a few degrees, you basically got 18 mile an hour value wind or no mile an hour value wind, depending on 3 degrees, because it was kind of like blowing into your face.
But you lost 200 feet per second.
Yeah, yeah, you lost a lot of distance, and then also just the rain is just pelting you in the eyeballs the entire time you're shooting,
which is the real challenge.
Yeah, I got a samurai bow from oh god damn it, I'm blanking on his name.
How's that sound?
Who's our favorite Marine with one leg and one eye?
Oh, Gil.
Yeah, Gil.
I remember your name, Jill.
Yeah, James were standing to awards, and James was like, "Did you shoot the afternoon schedule today?" I'm like, "Yeah." And he just clasped his hands and bowed to me. And he's like, "Respect, dude." I was like, "Yes." It was pretty moist.
Yeah,
it was pretty moist. But
James is a freaking gangster,
dude. He I think he won the all shotgun stage. The dude with one leg won the all shotgun stage that had 150 yards of running on it. That dude is so aggressive with a shotgun.
Dude's just aggressive in life.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I think the shotgun is just the gun that represents him the best as a person.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, back to the injury question on one of the other episodes. I was like, no, I was in the hospital. I thought of James Gill. I'm like, I'm gonna be okay.
Yeah, you're gonna be fine. I'm psyched. I'm flying to Texas in 3 days to go shoot a Vortex shootout there, and I'm squatted with James again. I'm fucking stoked. It's gonna be super fun.
I'm so bummed I'm missing that match.
It's gonna be a good one.
Yeah,
it's gonna be a good one. So here's the thing about Memorial. Memorial 3-gun is in fact a memorial. I understood this. I understood this going in, and I didn't expect it. I didn't expect it to hit me the way that it did. And I think there's a few things going into that.
They're very good at that.
It has all the feels. They read a memorial for the person that every stage is named after a different person. They read the memorial to that person before the walkthrough. There's a moment of silence. It's a real thing. And for the, 10 people in my life that know what's going on, this hit me extra hard right now. I was doing fine with most of it. I got to stage 6, which happened to be our last stage, named for Trevor Graves, and had kind of a full-on come apart. Got through the stage and went up and talked to the RO afterwards, who happened to be a friend of Trevor's, and thanked him for sharing the story. And what happened to Trevor was pretty similar to what happened to somebody in my life very recently. And we had a good little cry. And it's pretty rare that you have a cry with the RO after you shoot a stage at a 3-gun match. That's not a normal thing.
That's a first. That's a first.
Yeah, that's abnormal. But I was it had all the feels for sure. It was definitely there was emotion there that I did not expect to be there, and I think part of it's because of what's going on in my life right now, and part of it is just it was a very emotional thing. But done very well. Like I was I was quite surprised how moving it all was.
Yeah.
It was really well done.
Yeah, that's pretty intoxicating. I didn't go this year. I haven't gone for several years, but I have been several times to this match. And they do that very well, especially at the end. They get the bagpipes out. The bagpipes get me every time.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
But little Garantham style dad advice. We'll just interject this here. You out there, if a grown ass man, if you ask them if they're okay, and they look you straight in the eye and they say no, make some time for that person.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
make
if they
some
say
time
yes,
for that person,
and you don't quite believe them,
make some time
make some
anyway.
time for them too. Yeah. Yeah. 100%. 100%. Yeah. No doubt. So on to the happier stuff. Sorry to bring everybody down.
Yeah, but like the reason we have to talk about this match because it's, to me, I think there's maybe five powerhouse like match directors or events or event promoters in the country right now. And I would put myself like at the bottom of that list because I kind of get it by default for an organization. But like the two 800-pound gorillas in 3-gun right now are Texas 3-Gun Championship and Memorial.
Yep.
And Memorial is the like match directors can do several events in a year, but you really only get one big one.
Yeah.
And Zoo City puts on three quote unquote major matches a year, in addition to running a bunch of club stuff and all that. But this is their masterpiece every year. This is the one they pull all the stops out for. So if this is like peak Zoo City match. And for everything I saw, that's really what they put down again this year, and they have a good facility to do it. They do it it's called Griffin Group, which is near Fort Bragg, but not on Fort Bragg. So it's a range that's used by military units stationed at Fort Bragg for like contract type stuff. It's just got like a military feel that you don't get from a lot of places, and they're kind of set up to do some kind of the ninja stuff that you don't normally get. Like what jumps out to me when you pull up there is all those aircraft fuselages that they have.
Yeah. The plane is definitely the big one for sure.
Yeah, and they have a bunch of them, a bunch of different styles of them, and it's very trippy because a lot of them are from airlines that are not in business anymore.
Yeah.
And if you know,
just imagine like the TV series Lost,
yeah,
where there's just like a plane in the jungle dripping with shit. It's like that.
Yeah.
it's kind of cool.
And like just as kind of like a history nerd, like the special mission unit that's stationed near there, one of the things they do is linear assaults, like they're an anti-terrorist unit. So all those planes are there. Basically, they practice taking down those planes, and then they move to the next model, and then they move to the next model. Like, how do we rescue the hostages in a 747? How do we rescue the hostages in a 737? How do we rescue the hostages in an Airbus? And one of those fuselages is used in the match. So this is probably one of the only places you're going to get to shoot out of a Boeing airplane.
Yeah.
Anywhere. And so it's got a lot of unique features like that. I would not say it's a terrain match. Like a lot of people they love the term open terrain or natural terrain match. The only thing natural about this place is that it was made in World War II and then kind of mothballed. But it's definitely a unique
there's like two
facility.
jungle runs on it, but the rest of it's all in a field with a bunch of berms around.
Yep.
They're very like open. You know, there'll be like a couple berms behind you, and then it'll just be like 700 yards to the next berm. Mm-hmm. So you're just kind of like out in a field, but it's not like you're running through valleys and up and over ridges and stuff like that.
Well, and they have the best target backers for long range.
Yeah, they do.
Because what they do, they have those like concrete barriers, those movable concrete barriers.
Like the jersey barriers, but the really crazy thick ones.
Yeah. And this range, they just have the mold to make those. So they just put those behind the target. So when you miss the target, you can both see it because the target is contrasted. But if you miss, you smacked concrete and you get like a puff of dust off of it. And then when you shoot it to shit, no problem. We're just going to throw that one away. They just make another one. And they just look at those concrete barriers are just a consumable. They're like, oh yeah, we'll just make some more. No big deal. It's like, geez.
Yeah. They have a lot of those things out there, but yeah, they have a lot of like pretty cool props. So I mean, I think the plane that you shoot out of is a 737. Yeah. If I recall correctly, you on this time you shot some stuff out of the field there. You shot a shotgun out in the field. Then you ran up the back steps into the back of a plane, which I'd never done. And you run down and you basically shoot from all of the emergency exits.
Yeah. It's very DB Cooper.
So yeah, yeah, for sure. And and some pretty hard, I think there was like a 35-yard pistol plate rack and pistol targets out to 100, like big, steel challenge gongs, and then a bunch of rifle and stuff like that. It was pretty cool because we all, when we're like making ready, this was on day 3 at the end, so it was just nuking rain. So we're like, everyone grab your guns and get in the plane, and we're like, sweet. So we all get in the plane.
Don't have to ask me twice.
Like, yeah, get your sight pictures, figure your stuff out, and then we're gonna, put your guns up here afterwards. So they're just gonna be like up here and ready to go. So then you just follow the shooter in before you, and you sort of stage your guns in reverse. You don't have to carry them up the stairs. We're like, cool. So I get down, I take my sight pictures, get all my dots set right. Wear your clear lenses, ladies and gentlemen. If you're shooting inside of a plane, it's dark in there. And I'm just like, hey, where do you want me to put the rifle? And he goes, dude, just put it in the overhead. I'm like, oh yeah, right.
Obviously.
I don't know why, but that just tickled me so much, just to like throw my rifle up in the overhead. And,
did it move
Brian
during flight?
No, it did not. Brian said he's going to start training for Memorial by as soon as his plane lands, he's just going to jump up and run down the aisle as fast as he can whenever he's going anywhere. Definitely a stage where it helped to be a skinny guy for sure.
Oh yeah.
But
I mean,
yeah. So there was that.
So the big things that they always have that you can look for if you want your drink Ironman highlights, things you're gonna get. You're gonna get to shoot out of that plane. There's gonna be a helicopter fuselage somewhere. They're gonna shoot off the top of that Connex tower.
Yep. Three-story Connex tower.
You're going to shoot off of something that's moving. They're gonna drive and you're gonna ride on something that's moving while you shoot it.
This time it was a flatbed trailer being towed behind a Tacoma at 8 miles an hour. And during the walkthrough / ride through, you're standing and you're like, oh, this doesn't seem too bad. This is going to be easy.
Oh yeah, no problem.
When you actually do it, you have to be sitting on a wood bench. And it was drastically rougher when sitting down than it was when standing up.
Did you get a mic on that stage?
No, I got a mic on a different stage.
Oh, I thought you missed when I was watching your video. I thought you missed one of them, and then I felt like you shot an extra one when you got to the end, but like you didn't get. I wasn't sure if they dinged you for that or not.
No, they actually tried to. One of the ROs saw what happened and one didn't. So from the spinner there at the end, you could see 5 plates, and I had actually shot the 5th one but missed the 4th one. Yeah, but I didn't actually know how many there were because you kind of drive through a wall and you're doing a reload into the spinner. And so I wasn't really sure. So I shot 1 extra plate as I shot moving. Because once you're sitting still, it's just like ting, 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 ting.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, I'm just literally going to shoot all the plates that I can see because I know I missed one of them. I knew I missed at least 4. Well, because the rest of them weren't visible until you're actually at the spinner. Yeah. So anyways, I did in fact hit it, and then I double engaged the last plate that I shot. I didn't need to shoot. So it was like an extra half a second or something.
Is that the one you cried on and you kind of tried to put it over the top like a chick, just kind of cry your way out of the ticket?
No, that was a different one. I'll talk about that later. Okay. Yeah. So you get to ride on stuff. you get to shoot at movers, like little robot. There's targets on little robots that drive through a field. I did real shit on those. So there's 2 of them out in this field on the right that probably go like 150 yards through a field at different speeds. And I shot 17 rounds at the first one. I shot 2 at the second one. And then when the third one goes out, kind of ducks behind a car and then switches back and then goes behind the trees and you don't see it anymore. And I shot 2 at that one. And my second shot, it disappeared into the trees, and I shot into the trees, and then I saw it fall out of the trees because it like falls down when you hit it.
Yeah.
So I just like threw a complete hoper into the branches in front of it and hit it.
You totally redeemed yourself.
But where I botched was I looked at the stage, and I'm pretty good at just like looking and being like, I kind of want to be on about 3 power here. I want to be on 5 power or 10 or whatever. And I looked at the long range. I'm like, this is about a 6 power long range. So I just dialed it to 6 and I shot all the other rifle stuff with the red dot. But 6 was way too much for the movers. So the mover filled like my entire field of view. And then, because it was only at like 110 yards. So it wasn't that I wasn't leading enough or anything like that. I just had such a hard time getting it to like stay in my field of view so I could break some shots at it. So 3 would have been plenty, maybe even too much. I should have shot the movers on like 2 power and then zoomed up for the long range. So
how much long range do we have?
Let's see. So I counted 1 metric shit ton of long range. Most stages had targets past 300. The longest shot was 700.
Most of 9 stages?
Most of 10 stages.
10 stages?
So the only stages that did not have long range was let's see. So stage
the plane, the shotgun stage.
No, the plane had long range.
Oh, it did? Okay.
Yeah, the plane had long range out to like 3. I think those are 300. That had long range. The ambulance, which was stage 2, that had long range to 700. Stage 3 had long range. That was one at the movers, and there was targets out to 400. Stage 4 did not have long range, but it did have some just kind of offhand, like 90-yard rifle shots. And then, let's see, stage 5 had a grip of long range. Stage 6 had a grip of long range. Stage 7 did not. Stage 8 was the all shotgun stage. Stage 9 did not, but it was sort of like the Battle for the South stage where you either shot the hard stuff with your pistol at the beginning or at the end, and then you shot the rifle on the other side. So that same style, like, small plates at 45 to 55 yards offhand with the pistol and the rifle, and then the rest all did. So a lot of long range shooting, like 60% of the stages, 70% of the stages, something like that, had long range shooting on them. And I would say it was kind of similar to battle. Like, they weren't, like, some of them were pretty far, but they weren't super small. I think everything past 400 was going to be like at least a C-zone, if not a full-size IPSC. So it wasn't crazy. And in the 700 was like the hood of a car. Like, it was human. Like, so, all the targets out there have those big pink backers.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this one, the target was big enough that they couldn't put a backer behind it. So I'm looking, I'm like, did the 700 fall down? And they're like, no, the pink thing is the target. And I was like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
We're going to be all right. And they all had strobes on them. They were super good about that. They were super on point with the calls. I do have a video of me being like, that was a hit after the RO clearly called hit, because I'm like double plugged in a helicopter, and the dude with the spotting scope was far enough away that I didn't hear anything. But I love the strobes because you can just be like, I saw it flash, I know I'm good, I'm just going to move on. If this needs to be a conversation later, it can be, but it's like you can very easily call your own hits, and you're not just like waiting on some guy rocking squint power. So yeah. Oh, another pro tip for this match, the 0 area, I would call it a function fire area. So there was a C-zone target at 100 yards and another one at 50 yards. And so basically you're like, yep, I can shoot. Oh, no, wait, excuse me. It was a full-size IPSC steel at 100 yards. And so you're like, okay, I can hit a barn. Yay. So there wasn't any way to like really zero your rifle. Now, what I ended up doing was I ended up shooting at a spot on the target that didn't have any bullet pock marks around it, and then looking to see where the splash happened. And I was kind of like, I think it's kind of down and right, but I can't really tell. Here is the pro tip. If your guns were zeroed before you got there, whether you drove or you flew, and you cannot super accurately confirm zero, leave your shit alone.
Oh, no.
A lot of people went there and just started spinning knobs because they're like, I don't know, I think it splashed and wherever. And so I shot and I was like, it looked like it might have been kind of low. So I literally made a note in my like little, kind of match notes that like, hey, if you start missing long range, just come up 2/10 was like my note. And I didn't need it at all. It was all totally fine. And I went 1 for 1 on a lot of the pretty hard pokes. But yeah, if you can't actually confirm your zero, do not start spinning knobs unless you know you're not on. Like,
yeah. How was, you sent me a picture of a guy on your squad. He had the next gen scope. How was that?
Oh yeah.
Pause. So for those not familiar, the M7 infantry rifle, the SIG Spear rifle with the Vortex Smart Scope on the top of it. Someone on Riser's squad had one of those. That is the hardest.
The whole thing.
Yeah, that is the
rifle
hardest,
and the scope.
The hardest optic to get your hands on in the building. It's very compartmentalized because it's DoD stuff. I don't actually know very much about it. But someone had one on your squad. So how was that?
It was very interesting. So I did get to pick it up and play with it a little bit. Didn't shoot the gun. That guy wasn't bothered at all about the wind because he was shooting a 6.8 going whatever ungodly speed they're pushing
what
those
the hell,
things.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I came off a stage. It was shooting stage 6 in like full crosswind, and I came up and I was like, "Hey man, I held like about 1.8 for the 400 yard because it was just howling." And he just like looked at me and looked down at the gun, and I looked at his gun and went, "Never mind." I was like, "You should just kind of open up right edge, like you're gonna be fine." But it was, the gun was really heavy. Like that was the biggest takeaway. Like it probably weighed more than my JP 6.5 Creedmoor with a 4.5 to 27 on top.
Yeah.
I picked it up and I was like, holy shit, this is a lot of gun.
It's the M14 all over again.
Yeah. And so that was my biggest takeaway. Apparently, he had a couple photos from some malfunctions that had happened. Apparently, because of the pressures going on inside there, when it malfunctions, it is a like take the gun apart level malfunction. It's not like, oh, this brass got kind of hung up and we're just going to like mortar this thing into the ground and get this thing to like, no, that's not a thing.
You just transition pistol.
Yeah, you just transition pistol and you start hooking it up. Yeah, there is a lot of pressure going on. The great thing is all the brass has steel cups on the bottom, so you can just walk around with the freaking shot shell magnet and pick up all your brass. So that's pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah, so I'm kind of into that part. The scope was really interesting. It's I didn't get to play with it in like the full send, like use all the buttons mode. I just kind of like checked it out really quick. It's sort of a BDC that's calibrated specifically to that gun. And then you can set it up in a few ways where either the BDC will, my understanding, there's a super good chance that I was not understanding this correctly, but my understanding was you could either set it up where it would give you the ranges and you could use the BDC as designed initially, or you would give you the ranges and it would adjust for you based off of the ranges that you ranged using the rangefinder that's built in. I'm not super sure that I understood that correctly, but that's kind of the way that it translated into my brain. But there's a rangefinder built into it. For our sport, that's not helpful at all. You need to know your ranges when you roll up.
I was going to ask, was he using the laser on it or not?
I don't think he was, because he was still shooting pretty fast. I'm pretty sure he rolled up with ranges like already in his head. But it was pretty interesting the way the thing is built too. All the electronics are there's an etched reticle in it is what I'm trying to get at. Like if all the electronics go out, you can still use it as a scope.
Yep, that's a
So
requirement
it's
of
not-
the program.
Yeah, so it's not like something where your battery dies and all of a sudden you can't aim your rifle. But it has a bunch of other stuff. And so there's a bunch of other parts about that scope that I have been told about that I understand so poorly that I'm not even going to say them on here because the chances of me getting them correct are pretty much zero. But it does have some pretty interesting things going on. So
The best information on that rifle scope is the Garand Thumb video.
yeah,
I learned things from the Garand Thumb video. So go watch that if you're
Solid.
curious what we're talking about.
solid.
But
Yeah.
he got through the match. He used it. He wasn't
Yep.
like pointing it at something, lasing it, and then shooting it.
If he was doing it super fast, and I am way more impressed than I would have been, but I don't think that's what he's doing. I'm pretty sure he had ranges and was going out and shooting them. He was a pretty good shooter. And also, he got to shoot for no score because he had a suppressor. And apparently that rifle does not run without a suppressor, or his didn't anyways. And they announced like 3 days before the match that suppressors were not allowed. And so he's like, well, what do I do? And they're like, I mean, you can shoot for no score. And so that's what he did. So he just like took a picture of the timer at the end of each stage and then he figured out where he finished. But it was really a bummer. But he was a good dude. He was fun to shoot with.
I'm really curious how he signed that gun out to use it at the match, but the answer is probably either not truthful or would get somebody in trouble. So I'm not really sure.
Yeah. When he rolled up and laid that thing on the table, I was like, what the fuck?
It's like,
I was
what?
like- yeah, so I immediately knew what I was looking at, and I was like, I did not expect that. Okay. So, yeah, interesting rig to check out. But holy shit, like, I bet that thing weighed 25 pounds. It was so heavy.
Oh, fully
It
kitted
was-
out? Yeah.
It was so heavy, man.
Yeah.
So heavy. Yeah.
I want
Yeah,
I want
that-
exactly 0 of those in my life.
Yeah, that thing was a honker for sure.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm sure there's military applications for it that's super cool, but it like for our world, no, it's not helpful in any way.
Yeah.
Yep.
Favorite stage. What was your favorite stage in the match?
Oh, dude. Stage 4 was my favorite stage. So that was
One of the long range ones.
No, there was no long range on stage 4. So stage 4 was so all the pistol. There's a lot of options.
Oh, it's by
in
that
this match.
Is that
So-
by that brown house? That
Yes.
brown. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So stage 4 is the one by the Brown House. I think it was actually stage 4 in our match as well. I have a little bit of history with that bay because that's where I had a catastrophic rifle malfunction last year that caused me to not be able to shoot at the last target. So I was pretty bummed about that. But everything ran great this time. And so stage 4, I bet of the top 10 open shooters, there were 7 stage plans.
Oh wow.
And they were all super, like, lots and lots and lots of different ways. It was a start everywhere. There was a double plate rack, which I thought was a triple plate rack. So I opted to shoot it with the shock. I opted to transition to the shotgun, shoot the plate rack, and then put the shotgun back away and pull the pistol back out after hot holstering. I found out that it was a double plate rack when I was like on deck. And I was like, shit, if I knew this was only 10 plates and not 15 or, 12 and not 18, I was like, I definitely would have shot this with the pistol, but I don't have enough time to pull a whole new stage plan in my head. So Brian shot it without pulling the shotgun out. I shot it in a totally different direction. I shot it front to back. Brian actually started in the middle, then went to the back, and then came out to the front. Several people did it in several different ways, and all the times were pretty darn tight. Like Brian and I shot completely different stage plans with completely different guns, and we were a second and a half apart. So, like, really, really interesting stage. And one of those stages where if you just nailed it, you looked like a ninja. Like, it just flowed super well. But if you just started getting, like, a little bit too aggressive in the wrong spots, you could just get hung up and just stand there in ankle-deep brass. So it was a really cool stage. It was really fun.
Yeah, and that's one of the great things that I really like that about Zoo City's style. Jason is he is the scientist and you are the mouse in the maze, and he is seeing how you run through it. Like he totally looks at it as him against the shooters, not in an adversarial way, but like he's trying to outsmart the shooters or pose a challenge to the shooters, and he's trying to see how they go about it. Like he's very I was talking to him one time, and he was like, I'm not a great shooter. He's like, I'm not a match-winning shooter, but he's like, my role is to challenge those people, and like I like to see. He's like, it's me versus them. I like to see how they take down challenges, and then like once they figure something else out, he's like, I bring it up to another level, and so they have to go about it a different way. So, he's very much like strategically designing stages with kind of the competitor in mind, trying to present them with a puzzle to fix. And so that's very hard to do. That's very hard to legitimately do, because either people don't do that, it's very linear, start here, end up there, or they think they're making options, but only one of those makes sense.
Yeah, it's common to see a bunch of different people shoot a bunch of different plans on an option stage. It's uncommon to see all of the top shooters shoot a different plan on the option stage.
Yes.
Like usually like there's an obvious plan. That's what all the top shooters do. And then there's some super sneaky thing that a B class guy came up with that clearly isn't the way to go, but that dude just doesn't have enough experience yet to know that this smart thing that he's about to do is really dumb. Yeah. So that's usually what happens. But like if you just take like me and Brian and Varick, we shot different plans on 1, different plans on 2, what was 3? Different plans on 3, on 4, 5 and 6. 5 for sure. 6, I don't know. 7 was back in. I think we all shot the same thing on 7. Very different plans on 8, which is the all shotgun stage. Very different plans on 9, and then 10. There was only one way to shoot it. So of the 10 stages, on 7 of those stages, me and Brian and Varick all shot different plans, which is mind-blowing. Like, that shit never happens. And I don't mean different in that, like, on a couple of those stages, they were very different plans, but sometimes just sort of like where to put the reloads, what order to engage the shotgun jungle run things and stuff like that. But, like, in some of them, it was like we just shot totally different guns at totally different times based off of our strengths. Like, I shoot pistol on the move way better than I shoot rifle on the move. Varick shoots rifle on the move way better than he shoots pistol on the move. So in those options, he would lean on the rifle and I'd shoot on the pistol. And it was, super, super interesting to see like that many stages with different plans where I'm like, hey man, I know you're super good, but I think this other plan is better for me given the things that I'm good at. And, you know, in most of those cases, I was right. Like, that was the right plan for me. If I would shot his plan, even though that was the best plan for him, wouldn't have been the best plan for me and would have led to more time on the clock. So yeah, super, super interesting.
How balanced were all the guns challenged throughout the match?
I would say very. Several 100-yard pistol shots. Many like 40, 45-yard pistol shots on like 8-inch plates. Like, quite a bit of, you wanted to just be able to stand there and shoot your pistol. Like, that needed to just not be a thing. And then a ton of super hosey up close stuff. Lots of long range rifle, tons of rifle on the move, a grip of shotgun. So this is the first match that I've shot in a while. Well, for example, this is the first match where I've beat AJ Anthony since the first year he started shooting, I think. It's been a while since I beat AJ. He was one place behind me in the overall. The reason I beat AJ was that I loaded a 20-round magazine in my shotgun 5 times in this match, which I pretty much try not to do ever. There was a grip of shotgun shooting in this match. So, I mean, I loaded from a 20 to another 20 twice. So, like, Yeah. So a lot of shotgun shooting. There's basically enough shotgun shooting that it was like, hey, the open, like the whole top 7 was all open guys. And then AJ was an 8th overall, winning modified by a good chunk. So enough shotgun shooting that like open was really an advantage, actually was. And so tons of shotgun stuff. There were quite a few stages with like offhand slug shooting on like kind of 50-ish yard plates, things like that. One stage where Brian and I actually used the tripod for the slug shot at the end of the all shotgun stage, because it was probably like a 10-inch plate at 50 yards or something like that. Like enough that you should be able to shoot that, but if you start missing, it's going to go real ugly, and you have however many slugs you put at the top of your mag. So both of us opted to take the extra half a second to put the gun down on the tripod and then shoot those. And then Brian forgot how many slugs he had loaded in the top of his mag and then slugged a plate afterwards. So that was
Brian.
Kind of Brian he shot quite well, but had 57.5 seconds of penalties.
Brian.
Yeah.
Brian is checkers or wreckers. That's just,
yeah.
It's checkers more often than it's wreckers, but man, when he wreckers, it's hard.
Yeah. We came off the last stage. We shot stage 6 dead last. And there were a few stages in this match where the round counts weren't correct. And that hurts my TISM real bad, because that's part of my process. Go count all the targets.
Yeah.
And on 3 stages in a row, the count was just not correct. And it's like, God damn it. So we get to stage 6, which is our last stage. And I'm walking it. I'm like, dude, I'm a target short. And we both walk around and we're like, no, I think there's just a target missing. And then Brian shot 2 in front of me. And he comes back and he goes, hey, man, there's not a target missing. There's a target through that port on the right wall. And I was like, what port? And so totally saved my stage. Walked back there. I was like, yeah, you're not kidding. There's a port on this wall that I didn't even see. And there's a target through that port that you cannot see from anywhere else. So,
nice.
Yeah. So there was a lot of that going on for Mr. Nelson. It was, he was having a rough go of it for sure. But, yeah, so lots and lots of shotgun stuff. The jungle run was about 50-ish rounds, depending on how many you put on the spinner. Several spinner targets. The mover or the moving trailer stage had 3. Had a pistol spinner, rifle spinner, and a shotgun spinner. Yeah, I mean, just like it. There was a shit ton of long range shooting,
which you're gonna get from Zoo City.
Which you're gonna get from Zoo City.
Yeah.
But there was so much everything else that I didn't take it to be a long range match.
Okay. See, that's what we're looking for. Like, is it a lot of long range and it doesn't matter what you do anywhere else, or is it balanced with everything else? And then is the rifle shooting only long range shooting and everything else is just kind of a layup? It sounds to me like they balanced a little bit of everything, which is what I like to see.
Yeah. So, I mean, rifle, some 3-yard away paper, some 50-yard offhand on an 8-inch plate, and 3, 4, 5, 6, 700 yards. So a little of everything.
How was it option wise? Was there options everywhere? Was there options nowhere?
All the options. So the way they run it here, paper is pistol, rifle, or a slug.
All
the
paper
board
is pistol, rifle, slug.
Yes.
Which, for those of you keeping score at home, is opening Pandora's box on the match director side. They got to have their shit tight. Otherwise, that can lead to bad things. Genies can
all kinds of bad
once you
things.
let that genie out of the bottle, it's hard to put it back in.
Yeah. So there was there was some pretty aggressive candy caning going on several stages.
Yes.
One of them being stage 6. So double spinner plus a bunch of knockovers plus a clay plus a bunch of paper plus a bunch more knockovers plus another double spinner with smaller plates plus more paper. So there was some slug, steel, spinner, mag change, steel, slug, steel, slug, steel, slug, mag chain. Like there was some of that kind of shit going on that I just wanted no part of.
And it was
like,
oh, so it was a viable option to do that and not to do that.
yes, it was a viable option both ways. Varric went back and forth a lot, and I can't remember which. I don't actually know which way he went with, but he showed me the slug candy cane plan first, and I was just like, "Nah, man, I'm good." Like I'm just gonna not
through the whole match.
That's a super good question. We have to do a little bit of math here really quick.
Over under 30.
We might just edit out. Probably pretty close to that.
Okay.
I bet
that's a lot of slugs.
Yeah, good chunk. No, 20 because I brought 30. Wait, I brought 30. I flew home with 7.
Okay.
So I shot 23.
Which is also what becomes dangerous with letting the slug genie out of the bottle, because like if you want to shoot a bunch of slugs and you shoot all your slugs,
then you're hosed.
And then you need more slugs.
Well, the options got so bad, and I kind of botched the ammo thing because I'd shipped out some ammo for Generation 3 gun, and I wasn't able to make that match because of the same stuff I talked about at the beginning of the podcast. And but the Bicey crew was kind enough to pick up my ammo from that match and drive it to this match. The problem was the round count here was about double what the round count was at Generation 3 gun. So I was real tight on ammo. So I actually shot all rifle on one of the stages because I didn't think I was going to have enough pistol ammo to finish the match if I didn't. That's like, which is like not where you want to be. It turned out to be totally fine, and like in retrospect, maybe the plan I would have gone with anyways. But I was like, well, here's a spot where I can just burn 40 rounds of rifle and not burn 40 rounds of pistol because I might not have 40 rounds of pistol to work with. And I would have been very close. I would have had like 15 rounds of pistol left had I shot pistol on that stage. So it would have been tight.
So this match is scored time plus.
Yep.
How do you think it would have changed if they would have scored it hit factor? Significantly? Not at all? Would you like to see it be hit factor? Do you like the way they scored it? Were the penalties harsh? Were they easy?
I think it would not have changed significantly. I think you would have had to aim a little harder. I mean, there's a lot of like running past a bunch of open paper at 7 yards type stuff, and you just, shoot that with a different level of aggression when you're shooting time plus than you do in a hit factor match.
Yep.
But I think, the good people would have adjusted. The penalties were, I would say, pretty appropriate. So, like a miss was 5 seconds. Failure to neutralize was 2.5. Past, I think 40 yards, I think a miss became 10 seconds, and then past 100, it became 20 or something like that. So, enough that you really wanted to shoot at all the long range stuff. It didn't seem as punitive as Battle for the South. And I don't even know that it was different than Battle for the South. I think just like the stages being bigger and more involved,
you could absorb
you could absorb, if you had a 10-second, whatever, like you could absorb that into your time, where at Battle for the South, where the stages are 30 seconds, is like, hey, welcome to 60%. So I think because the stages were just physically bigger and took longer, that the penalties were pretty appropriate. So I think they actually were the same penalties as Battle for the South. They felt pretty punitive there, and they didn't feel punitive here. They might have been bigger for Battle. I feel like a FTN was 5 seconds at Battle.
It might have been. I really don't remember.
I feel. In fact, no. Actually, not. And now let me back up. I'm sure of it because on the Jungle Run stage, I had 3 because I was shooting the pistol like a complete asshole, and it was 15 seconds added to my stage. So yeah. So at Battle, the penalties were all twice what they were here. I think what they were here were more appropriate.
All right. Can you take us through your emotional roller coaster through the match, like without going play by play on every stage, like execution wise, from when you showed up the first day, like how did it ebb and flow, like all the way through you as a shooter?
It was pretty steady. Like, I didn't have any stages where I was like, holy shit, that was amazing. I didn't have any stages where I was like, holy shit, that was terrible. It was a very steady pace through the match. I felt super in control. I didn't really have a lot of penalties. I did. Oh my God. So the low point of the whole match for sure.
Yeah. Tell us about that.
Yeah. So definitely the low point of the match from a performance standpoint, because there was a whole day of standing in the torrential downpour and crying with ROs. So that was the emotional low point.
It do be like that sometimes.
The performance low point. My streak of FTSAs continues. I'm super pissed.
What's your streak?
So I think I have an FTSA in every single match I've shot this year. Somewhere there's like one target that I just didn't. Yeah, I do. Because I went like 10 years without ever having one. And I feel like I got the clap from somebody and now I just can't shake it, man. I need to get some penicillin. So whatever you take for failure to shoot ats, I need to take some of that.
Yeah. So I'm like, it's like in Walk Hard when Dewey Cox like walks in on him like doing drugs. He's like, you don't want none of this, Dewey. That's me. I'm FTSA guy. And then Adam opens the door like, hey, what are you doing here? Like, not shooting at targets? Oh, that sounds pretty fun. No, you don't want none of this. It makes you feel terrible inside. Like, I don't know. I think I want to try that. Nope, don't do it, Dewey. You don't want none of this.
That's exactly it. Yeah, no shit. So... yeah, so this one, and I was worried about it, and the reason was because, some round counts are wrong, so I'm like walking a stage, I'm like, I'm 5 targets short, there's no way, and then another stage would be like, I have 2 extra targets, there's no way. So on stage 5, which was the Super Candy Cane Slug stage, which I opted not to do, basically it was one of those things where, so here's the deal. If you go out and you shoot a Zoo City match and you walk to any corner or there's a port.
If there's a corner, you have to go there.
You have to go there and you have to shoot all the angles from that corner for sure. If there's a port, stick your head through the port and look left and right. Like shit is hidden at the peripheries for sure. So there was a plate where you shot the slug off the step, just like slug paper. And then you you kind of like stepped into this corner and there was a way where you could kind of like shoot across it. And as you're shooting across, things are exposing themselves. And if you shoot it in the right order, you can just do it in one nice, like smooth move. And as I shot across it the first time, I missed one of the steel targets. And so then at the end of it, I came back and I shot that steel target, but there was 2 steel targets just left of these 2 separate barrels that looked identical. And I thought it was a different target. And so one of the targets, which was in my stage plan that I thought I shot at, we get done. And the RO's like, hey, like, you never shot this target back here. And I was the first shooter on the stage, freshly painted steel. And I'm like, shit, man, are you sure? And he's like, yeah, you didn't shoot at it. I'm like, fuck. I'm like, I'm going to go look at it. And he's like, all right, cool. So I walk up to the target and there's like 3 pellet marks in the target, like brand new pellet marks and fresh paint. And so I'm like, hey man, like,
got him.
I just took a photo and I walked up and I'm like, hey man, I think I shot at it. I think I just like catastrophically missed and just didn't put it in. And this was like a 12-inch plate on top of one of those little tiny stands. Like you could shoot this thing with a Red Ryder and it would go down.
Yeah. They fall over like a toddler. Like,
yeah, I like couldn't, but we were in a high wind. So it did have a clip on it. So I was like, yeah, I think I just edged it. And he's like, all right, cool. Like, we'll call the range master. So the range master comes out, show him the photo. And I'm like,
was it
hey,
Buddy
man, like,
or Jason?
I actually don't know either of them. So I have no idea.
Was it the ginger?
So I don't remember, but it's all a blur.
Come on, man.
But he did have a side by side.
Tell a story.
He did have a side by side with like 50 ELS clips screwed to the roof, which I thought was this fucking coolest thing ever. You just like put mag pouches and holsters up there. I was like, you were doing it right. So anyway, so I showed them, and they're like, oh yeah, there's pellets on it. Like, must have shot at it. Like, we'll take your penalty off. I'm like, cool. So I'm feeling all good. I'm like, yeah, like screw the FTSA streak. And I go home that night and I'm watching match video and I see me swinging past that target on both the miss and the makeup. I'm like, Oh yeah, we didn't shoot at that. So then I had to drive back to that stage the next morning and be like, "Hey, you guys took off a penalty for me yesterday on an FTSA that I didn't think I got. Watch the batch video. It turns out I actually did not shoot at that. So if you could pull out that tablet and put 2.5 seconds back on my time, that'd be great." The guy was like, "You want your penalty back?" I'm like, "Yeah, I didn't shoot at it, so I want what I got." So
and you still beat AJ.
Still beat AJ. Yeah,
I didn't forget. You're our boy, Blue.
Just because of all of our shotgun shooting. And so anyway, so my FTSA streak continues, and I would have had to if it wasn't for Brian Nelson coming up at the very last stage to be like, "Hey man, there's a target through that port. Like, make sure you go over there and shoot." So yeah, that was definitely like the low point, but Rip like pretty even keeled through the whole match. There wasn't any like big crazy ups and downs. Just like super fun squad. Like I didn't know anybody but Brian, and we had a freaking blast. Good dudes. Everybody reset hard. Most people reset hard. We do have one other like pretty hardcore Gary of the day from the match that I'll add to a later episode.
So the weather was nice on Friday, and then it turned ugly Saturday, Sunday. How did that play down?
Yeah. So so Saturday we shot the morning, and it was reasonably windy like the whole weekend. Not like the 36 miles an hour, but it was like gusting into the 20s like the whole weekend. And so we shot the morning on Saturday, and the whole morning it was like, oh, it's going to rain any second now. And it just never did. It was just ominous. Yeah, it was just ominous and shitty the entire day, and like just started sprinkling when we left. And then the other crew in the house who shot the afternoon squad, they came in, they were all wet, and they're like, yeah, it rained on us the whole day, but never hard. It was always just like, just sprinkly enough just to be really annoying, where you're never quite dry.
All our stuff's wet, but we out here.
Yeah, exactly. And then Sunday, it did kind of the same thing. In the morning, it sort of looked like it was going to rain, but it just sort of didn't. And then in the afternoon,
the skies opened up and God said,
it was,
"I hate you, alfalfa."
It was like the ocean fell from the sky. Like it was torrential downpour, just absolutely nuking. And ironically, I would like to blame some, blame one position in the match or whatever on the rain, but I don't think the rain actually affected my performance at all. The wind didn't help, but I actually shot pretty reasonably good on the long range for given that much wind. The throwers on the tower, I'm pretty sure you could have loaded, like they could have had a Dillon shotgun reloading press set up next to the shotgun stand, and they could have thrown the clay, and you could have loaded your ammo and then put it in the gun and then shot the clay out of the air. Like it just flew out there and just perfectly hovered like a hawk just riding a thermal out in front of the tower at like 20 yards.
Begging to die.
Yeah, it was the easiest flying clay I have ever shot in my life. Like no movement, no tracking, just like stood there.
Should have been like, guys, hey, I'm pretty sure we should just score this as a static clay. What do we think?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it was pretty wild.
Did you do any of the extracurricular activities? There are side matches and a shoot-off. Did you get involved with any of that stuff?
I did not get involved in any of that stuff. Brian bailed out of the shoot-off. He was the winner last year.
Typical Brian.
Yeah, typical Brian. And the shoot-off got moved to Saturday night instead of Sunday night. And as I said about PM, AM, PM squads, we shot Saturday afternoon squad, and then it's a shoot-off in the dark, and then Sunday morning. Is that Friday? Saturday? Friday. Shoot-off got moved to Friday night, and then so we were going to have to like basically shoot the PM schedule, then shoot the shoot-off, then go home. And I think everybody who shot the shoot-off got back to the cabin at like midnight, and then be up at 5 o'clock in the morning driving away to get back to the range to go shoot. So Brian was like, nah, I'm good. And I was thinking about going to the shoot off. It was the next night. I would have done it, but I was the same thing. I was like, I don't want to trash the rest of my match to go, get absolutely curb stomped against Varric, as much fun as that would have been. So I didn't do the shoot off.
I really love shoot offs, but it's like the hot chick that I want to date, but she friend zoned me. Like, I always want to be up in that, and there's always a reason that like, oh no, you can't, or you shouldn't, or it's full, or it just.
I've shot a lot of shoot offs, and I think done right, shoot offs are super fun. But the scheduling has to work.
It's so
and so there
hard.
has to be like,
the scheduling
hey,
is
are you
so
here
hard.
are you here for the shoot off, or are you here for the other stuff?
Yeah.
And that's the tricky thing. And so I think the way that it would have been was going to be fine. But then when they saw what the weather was supposed to do, they were like, nobody's going to hang out here in torrential rain for a shoot off. So we're just going to move it. And it kind of like moved all the people around. So didn't do the shoot off, but they did have a shoot off. The Little Bird got canceled because the weather was so bad on Sunday.
Dang. Explain the Little Bird.
There were some butthurt people about that, as I would have been.
So there's a Little Bird stage they sell raffle tickets for, and 5 or 10 people get to do it.
I think it's 10 or 15.
Something like that. But yeah, they sell raffle tickets, and basically once the whole match is done, and the match is kind of on two sides of the road. Once the match is done and they kind of corral everybody over to where the awards are, and they like shut down the range, then these people who get pulled in the tickets, they get a ride in a Little Bird, and they get to quote unquote shoot the Little Bird stage, which basically means you get to shoot from the Little Bird. Which is pretty dope. I have never got to do it. Joe got to do it the first year, Joe Farewell. Dustin Felix, a friend of mine, he's done it before. Ralph Chu's done it before.
AJ's done it.
AJ, yeah, I've talked to a few people who have done it. It's much coveted. All right,
Varric's done it twice.
Yeah,
little bastard.
I mean, if you want to get booed, basically like have your name pulled out of that raffle.
Yeah, pretty much. So ironically, I have flown in a Little Bird on a climbing trip in the Northwest Territories in Canada before. So I did get to fly in a Little Bird from a Vietnam vet pilot who flew it like we were being shot at. So I do know what it's like to fly in a Little Bird at map of the earth. So that was super cool. And I was like, man, the only thing to be better is hang outside of this thing with a gun. And so I was really excited for the opportunity to shoot the Little Bird stage. And I was really happy that my name didn't get pulled and the Little Bird got canceled, because I would have been all of the bummed if my name was on that list and then I didn't get to do it.
Yeah. That'd be like a double dick punch. It's not a good time.
Well, Atlas threw in a grip, one of those aluminum conversion grips that they're doing as like a consolation. Like, hey, if you won the Little Bird stage, it got canceled. Atlas was the title sponsor for this match, by the way. So one of the other reasons that we both like Atlas, because they put their money where their mouth is, or put the cash where their mouth is, rather. And so they were like, hey, everybody got boned on a Little Bird stage. We're going to take those names and we're going to raffle off a grip. And the dude that won the grip was like, I mean, this is cool and all, but I would have much rather just ridden a Little Bird. So I'm like, yeah, I get you. I can get behind that. So. And then there was, a good handful of other side stages. Varric pretty much won all of them. He just went from stage to stage with like boxes of ammo, just curb stomping everybody like a jerk. And then,
which reminds me, we got to lock down our 3-man team like soon.
Oh yeah, we do. Yeah. We need to give him a call. I think he'd be down. And then, so the only other side stage that I shot was the Genesis side stage. Cause I just wanted another shot to, run the full auto 12 gauge without the guy putting his hand on my shoulder like I was a 12-year-old, and they left me alone this time. It was fun.
You're all grown up now.
Yep, exactly. But that thing, full auto 12 gauge, will just shove you over backwards if you're not really getting into it.
There's a lot of Newton's law going on there.
Yeah. Physics are gonna and physics are happening super fast. So, yeah, that thing's quite rowdy.
Which I liked when my boy Josh is one of the Genesis guys. And did you see that little video they did where he's like pounding the shells with a hammer? He like took some shotgun shells and he like was whapping on them with a hammer to deform them. And then he loads the magazine full with all these shells that he deformed. And then he just dumps the mag. I was like, you know what? Tip of the hat. Bravo. That's some solid marketing right there.
That is some solid marketing right there. Well, good on him. Good on him.
All right. Well, let's talk about the scores. How did we do? How did it all shake down? I haven't looked.
I ended up in 7th, which I feel all right about.
How do you feel about that?
My wife asked me flying out. She's like, "Hey, like, how do you expect to do with this match?" And I was like, if I really put one together with this field, I can end up in the top 5. If I fall out of the top 10, I'm going to be livid. And so I ended up 7th, split the difference. I beat a couple people I did not expect to beat, and I got beat by a couple people I did not expect to get beat by. So kind of a little bit of good and bad there. But so here's the top 3 for all of them. TAC division, which is a thing at this match, even though there wasn't a lot of people in it. Tim Yackley came out and absolutely murdered the field. Tim put 19% into second place. So that stings.
Ouch.
Yeah. Because, Tim is Tim and he's going to do Tim things. If you ever want to see what military grade autism looks like when it's pointed at shooting, he is the prime example of that, and a super nice guy. Jason Tilkey pulled home the silver, and Patrick Beckman got bronze for the TAC podium. They did have a podium. Good for them. Very excited.
Nice.
Modified division, AJ Anthony, who could not overcome the 400 quad loads he had to do, which I did not have to do to break the top 8 overall in the match.
You'll get there when it's time, buddy.
Yeah, it's coming, buddy. You're doing real good. You just keep on trucking. I'm gonna regret saying all of this. So yeah, AJ won modified. Sean Moeller got second place. JP Sullivan taking home the 3 spot to round out the modified. And open, kind of interesting. Varick won. Nobody's surprised. Joe got second. Nobody's really surprised. Third place, Benjamin Dove.
Who?
You ever heard of Benjamin Dove?
Who?
Yeah, exactly. That was my question. Pretty much everybody's question at the end of this match is, who in the fuck is Benjamin Dove? Well,
Cinderella story comes out of nowhere.
I got a roundabout answer. Brian knows him, and he is a, quote, Army guy from Fort Bragg.
Okay.
Who gets to shoot a lot because of his particular job.
Okay.
So that reads like not Big Green Army to me. And got super interested in 3-gun a couple seasons ago, and apparently has been spending all of his shoot house time practicing 3-gun. So he is our tax dollars hard at work, taking home the 3 spot on the open podium.
He's on our side.
Yes, he's on our side. So yeah, which I'm totally fine with.
And I'm guessing number 4 there signed off on all that ammo. So
yeah, also quite possible. So yeah, some real names up there. So yeah, very, very stacked in all 3 divisions. Good match. I had a blast. It was cool.
Awesome. What did we pull? What did we walk away with?
Oh, we got ourselves a BCM rifle, and
yeah?
I almost pulled a is it ODOA? Who makes the 2311? Is that a
OA Defense? Yep.
Yeah, I didn't know enough about it to be like, is this a nice Glock or a cheap 2011? I didn't know like where it falled, and I was like, I know what that other thing is, so I just went over and took the rifle.
You did good.
But so we pulled ourselves a BCM rifle.
Nice.
So it was a nice one. There was a green one and a silver one, and I was like, the green's a little too green. So Brian Nelson took the green one because it it suited him well.
Well, and now when your neighbor wants his first AR-15, you got something like
Exactly.
appropriately priced.
I have a reasonably priced, very appropriate AR-15 for my buddy who wants one. So, yeah, much better, much better.
Was there any adventures getting home?
No, not really. Not really. It was pretty smooth. No crazy stuff.
No
I didn't
trunks
almost get in a gunfight
no
in the
trunks
parking
popping
lot.
open. No
trunks popping open. I did get hooked up with the minivan.
tell me
budget...
the minivan thing, because like, you insist on learning this the hard way, but you do have to learn at some point.
Yeah,
you gotta get the SUV.
I have gone through the whole progression of rental vehicles.
Yep.
I ended up with the minivan because they were out of compact SUVs. I figured compact SUVs come like where I've landed. It's the cheapest option with a hatchback, where you can like work out of the back of the thing, and not have a trunk.
It's the move.
Like, to me, that's the thing. Like,
if you're by yourself,
don't have a trunk.
Yeah, if you're by yourself, it's what you do.
Yeah. So they're like, hey, we don't have any vehicles. We do have a minivan. Do you want it? I was like, yeah, sure. So it was a hybrid minivan, and I was like, oh sweet, I'm gonna get great gas mileage. Battery, stone cold dead. So got none of the benefits of a hybrid vehicle. Didn't save anything on gas. I was quite bummed about that. This thing was awful, dude. So this had a dial knob, like a volume knob that shifted it.
Mm-hmm.
So like the park, like all that shit. And it was literally next to the volume knob for the radio. So if you just reached out blindly and grabbed the wrong knob, you would just like throw it in reverse on the freaking highway, and it would make all kinds of terrible sounds. Like, this is who thought this was a good idea? This is such a bad idea. And all of the doors, with the exception of the driver door, were all like the automated, like you'd pull the thing and then it would be like, no, I got it. And then it would like open itself or close itself.
Yeah.
So for a sport where you just like open a door, grab a box of shells and close the door like all day long, you're like, chink. And then you grab your box of shells. Like, every time I was like, I am going to smash this window open just so I can reach in and grab stuff. It was so damn annoying, dude. I was getting so pissed at this minivan. And then to really add insult to the injury, we're shooting the tower stage, and you kind of had to park. I don't know the last time you've been out there, but there's like an elevated road, and then the hill kind of like falls away a little bit on each side. Well, we shot that in just torrential downpour. So we're like, all right, let's go to the next stage. Everybody rents their cars, hops in, drives out. I throw it in reverse. Ain't happening. I buried that thing to the damn frame. Everybody's left. It's just me and the ROs. So the ROs come out. They got a hard enough day already. They're standing on the third story of this thing in 36 mile an hour wind and blowing rain. They don't need to come push my fucking van. And so they come out and they're trying to help me out. And it's like, okay, well, I can't get a hold of anything. So they're opening doors, but this van would not disengage the parking brake if any doors were open.
Danger.
So yeah, and then once it did that, then I had to figure out how to like manually disengage the parking brake, because then it was a whole thing. Like, I ended up getting like axle deep stuck in the mud for like 15 minutes, coating all the ROs with wheel spit. Like, I felt like such an asshole. I was just like, I promise you guys, in my real life, I have capable vehicles that can drive out of the mud. I'm like, this is not how I normally roll. Like, don't judge me based off of this vehicle.
In my real life, I have a Raptor.
Yeah, exactly. You didn't even know, bro. But yeah, the rest of it was fine. Went up to, flying in and out of Charlotte's actually, like, that's, I think, my favorite airport, just because like the hang is really mellow. It has like a good spot to like plug in your computer and work, and you go get some food at Panera Bread, and
you
like, it's just a good airport. And I did. I actually did not. The line was so long that people who had already ordered food were bailing.
Yeah.
Like, they'd already paid and they're like, nah, I got a plane to catch, and they just left. So I went to some shitty restaurant instead. I should have waited longer. But yeah, just like spent the day working there and then flew home, and it was fine. I did get to give lots of entertainment to the guy in the seat next to me. So the two people sit down next to me, and they have a 8-month-old baby. And I'm just like, son of a bitch, you got to be kidding me. And it was like the best baby on a plane I have ever seen in my entire life. Like other than the fact that I could see the baby sitting next to me, I had no idea there was a baby on a plane. I'm like, you guys are crushing it so hard. But anyway, so we're flying in. It was just soup on the way in. Like you couldn't see anything, couldn't even see the wingtips. And then so I'm kind of like occasionally glancing out the window and occasionally glancing out the window. And the last time I glanced out the window was like 1/2 second before touchdown. So I've been glancing out and seeing soup, and then I glanced out and just saw like concrete and just went just had like a little jump scare. And the dude sitting next to me just busts out laughing. I was like, I didn't expect to see concrete. But nothing crazy. Yeah, it was pretty mellow. It's a good time. Good times are had by all. Oh, I did learn a very, very important thing. The lady at check-in, the Delta lady, hooked me up. She waived my second bag fee like a G.
Hell yeah.
And I plopped my bag down. I was having some kind of weight issues. So I had like the second carry-on with all my dirty clothes in it. And I plopped it down and it was at 48. And I was like, sweet. Like unzip it and I start shoving dirty clothes in there to like, try to get it so I'm not carrying 2 bags onto the plane. And I get to 50. I'm like, sweet. And she goes, you can go to 52. And I'm like, what? She goes, yeah. Keep going. So I keep shoving and I'm like, awesome. I'm like, thanks for hooking me up. And she goes, 50 actually means 52 for Delta. They don't publish it, but if you're at 52, they won't charge you overweight. And I was like, you just saved me so much money and so much sticking around. So that is our travel tip for the day. 52 pounds at Delta. Hell yeah. Yeah. So that's another 4 pounds of checked stuff, man.
Absolutely.
That's like another 100 rounds of ammo.
Oh yeah, totally. That's still under 11 pounds.
That's definitely under 11 pounds.
Definitely.
Yep.
All right, everybody. Well, that's Memorial 3-gun. We have some stuff coming up here yet. So Riser still has Vortex Shootout to do. I'm on my way to Race Gun Nationals this week. After that, I still got Area 2. We're all going to meet up at PCSL Nationals here at the end of December. So shooting action coming at you hot and heavy here for the next couple of weeks. But that's all we have for you today. So keep your overlays handy, although I'm going to be real with you, buddy, ain't looking at that shit anyway. And we'll catch you guys next time. This has been On the Perf. Be easy, everyone.
See you guys.